So you're engaged in this long-running internet war against grifters, mostly on the right, but not just on the right. There's grift all across the spectrum. And this week, media outlet Sludge reported that the right-wing student organization Turning Point USA received a $50,000 donation back in 2017 from the GEO Group. This is the nation's largest private prison company. That company receives hundreds of millions of dollars in ICE contracts literally every year. That rose sharply once Trump became president. Interestingly, the next year, Candace Owens, who was at that point Turning Point's communications director, toured an ICE facility owned and operated by that company and said, all these claims about how horrible it is are big lies. It's delightful here. There's paint on the walls. She literally said there's a lot of colors in places, and it's better than schools that she's gone to, even though at that point we knew that there had been hundreds of claims of sexual assault against ICE agents. What do you make of this? Do you think that those two things might be related, the donation and the coverage?
Of course. And this is just like another instance of Turning Point and their role in this kind of dark money network on the right. And if you look at just kind of how the money flows, it goes into Turning Point. Turning Point then gives them flattering reviews, completely lies about the treatment of children in their custody, and then they continue to receive these precious federal contracts. It's all absolutely connected, and this is a great story by Sludge. Alex Koch at Sludge has done a fantastic job tracking money on the right. I can't praise them enough. But yeah, this is just this is another instance of Turning Point's like seedy, dark role in this influence network on the right.
So you really have the combination of a couple of different things here. You have this organization being set up as a fake, like oh, it's students, it's young people. It's totally different than the Republican establishment, the older groups, even though they're getting their funding from the same place. Every person affiliated with this is thinking about their long-term career within that GOP establishment. And then you also have the individual grifters. You have the Charlie Kirk, you have the Candace Owens. How do we fight this battle? How do we get people to take seriously that there are people, maybe people that they trust and think are playing it straight to them, that are literally and identifiably in it for the money? What is our anti-grift strategy?
So I think we could take a more speech approach, right? So if instead of just trying to fight fire with fire, because I mean they're going to have more money in the long run because they're backed by corporations. But I think we can be smarter and we can be more effective with what limited resources we have. So I think engaging in true populist movements, working on issues that really affect the general populace, things like that will actually start a grassroots movement, and then you'll have like critical mass and be able to overpower them. But one component in that I think a lot of people don't realize is because we have this unlimited amount of money in politics, and so much of it is on the right. Like there is a moral obligation on the left for people to chip in whatever they can. It doesn't have to be a lot, but whether it's $1, $3, $5, whatever. I mean, putting a little bit of money towards these causes can really go a long way. Because when we band together, I mean, $1 from 10 million people is certainly more than the private prison has donated to Turning Point. So if we band together and we form our own true grassroots movement, we'd be able to overpower them.
You're 100% right, and actually related to that, and going back to something we talked about earlier in the show, I just want to briefly mention to the audience that I know that Act Blue has, I think that if you Google Act Blue Kids at the Border, they have a page that lets you donate money, and then it's distributed amongst a number, like I think 10 or 12 different organizations that are all working in that area. So as Jordan points out, your speech is important, but your money is important as well. Here on the Damage Report, we talk a lot about the big banks and their ways of getting rich off the poor. They saturate the market, but there are other options. And I've got info on a socially and environmentally responsible financial institution that has no ATM fees, gives you cash back on every purchase. They even commit 10% of their earnings to charity. It's called Aspiration, and if you go to aspiration.com/TYT to sign up, you'll get these perks, and that's more money to spend or to save or to spend. Just treat yourself.